Welcome to Contemporary Retirement. Contemporary Retirement is a public interest program focused on the retirement community. Every program has segments on legal, financial, and health issues affecting the retirement community. Contemporary Retirement is sponsored in part by a major grant from the Family Heritage Trust Company.
Contemporary Retirement is sponsored by Family Heritage Trust Company. The Family Heritage Trust Company is an independent bank chartered trust company established by local professionals to provide fiduciary services including fee-based investment advice, trust services, retirement planning, and tax planning. The Family Heritage Trust Company is committed to client service in our communities. For more information, call the Family Heritage Trust Company at 301-631-5900.
Contemporary Retirement is sponsored in part by a grant from R. Thomas Murphy & Associates, P.C. R. Thomas Murphy & Associates is one of Franklin County's leading law firms, emphasizing estate, trust, elder law, and medical assistance planning.
Welcome to the Is It Legal feature on Contemporary Retirement. This segment focuses on various legal issues affecting the retirement community. With me today is Tom Murphy from the R. Thomas Murphy Law Firm with offices in Waynesboro, Chambersburg, and McConnellsburg. Welcome to the show, Tom.
Good morning, Mike.
Tom, it's very interesting. You and I, have been doing this show for many years. We have clients that come to see us because they've been watching the program. We encounter people in social environments that have watched the program. And yet, ironically, there are just some messages that we are just unable to communicate.
Oh, you got that right. And the biggest offender seems to be old paper, old documents that just have gotten stale over the years.
And I had a meeting with a client yesterday, and they talked to me about watching the show. I'm looking at a 1988 power of attorney, and that document is so totally out of date. It has serious flaws in it that are no longer usable today. And I kind of looked and said to myself as I was talking, I wonder what we have to do on this TV show to get people's attention that these documents have to be changed.
Oh, I agree. I mean, they are the single most important thing you can do to protect yourself and your family. And so whatever we have to do, it's just incumbent upon us to get that message out because people need to keep their paperwork fresh.
And one of the challenges here is elder law is a new area of the practice of law. I look at the documents that I did in 1988, and they were state-of-the-art by this town's standards, but are completely inadequate for the kind of work that we do in elder law.
Exactly. And so, it's not that, again, the paperwork was bad or defective. It's just that life has changed. The world has changed. The rules have changed. And if you don't keep that paperwork fresh, you can't take advantage of the new techniques and the opportunities.
So as we talk about this in Maryland, if you have a pre-2010 power of attorney, re-emphasize, pre-2010 power of attorney, even if it was written by yours truly, Michael G. Day, it needs to be redone.
Right. Same for me in Pennsylvania. 2015 is a major stepping change, and so it'd be important to fix that, make it current.
And so as we want to emphasize to our viewers, when I say pre-2010, yes, that means yours.
Exactly right. And it's not that, again, it's bad, defective, or anything. It's still valid, but it's missing all the important updates that are critical in order to protect yourself.
Well, the power of attorney changed. Now, if obviously a person doesn't have capacity, then we're going to have to live with the old document and try to make it work.
Right.
But what happened many years ago, Pennsylvania did it earlier than Maryland, is the lawyers went to the legislature and basically said these money center financial institutions, whether it be national banks, national brokerage houses, were refusing to accept powers of attorney.
Yeah, exactly. And so usually it's the financial world who drives a lot of this because they are setting up roadblocks and making things difficult for families. But on top of that, you had big medical changes with the HIPAA statute in about 03, 04, that era, and so that meant you had to address medical privacy.
But when we go back to the financial side, you have a power of attorney, you think it's going to be okay, and the reality of it is that when we went to the legislature, both the Pennsylvania lawyers and the Maryland lawyers, we got a document that the state said these financial institutions had to accept.
That's a good point. So if you do what the statute says, the financial institutions have to honor it or you have some teeth.
And you have a cause of action, they can be responsible for legal fees, and it does not change the fact that many times they still refuse to accept it, but when you then confront them, you get the lawyers involved, and the lawyers know they do have to take it. So even though they're sitting there knowing that they might have to take it, they still try to get around accepting them.
Exactly, and so that's why it's critical to have the very best current paperwork, because it's hard as it is, let alone with bad paper.
So pre-2010 in Maryland, it's absolutely, if the person has capacity, you need to get a new power of attorney. And it doesn't matter that I wrote it. It's still not as good as you could get by using the post-2010. Now, one of the great challenges here, both in Pennsylvania and Maryland, is you can get that form on the internet.
Oh, you can get the form. Whether it's accurate and whether it's complete is a different matter.
Well, the problem is in the Maryland one that you get off the internet doesn't have an appropriate gifting clause for Medicaid. So people think that somehow, you know, saving the money by pulling it off the internet and doing it themselves is somehow a cost-effective measure.
Exactly. And so what happens is it's not the stuff that people know and see, it's what they don't know that ends up burning them. And if you don't have those gifting provisions, then you're really stuck in a nursing home situation.
And so even though the power of attorney says you can do everything permitted by law in Maryland, that's clear. You can't make gifts unless the power of attorney specifically says you can make gifts. Mm-hmm. And this language that says you can receive gifts is not the same as making gifts.
Exactly. Pennsylvania's the same way. They're very specific, and you have to have it in there.
Pre-2010 Maryland, pre-2015 Pennsylvania, you need to get it updated. This means you.
Exactly. Can't say it better.
Tom, as always, thanks for taking time to appear on the program.
My pleasure.
More from Contemporary Retirement after these messages.
Few things in life are as important as family. Leave your insurance worries to us. Write Gardner. Call or visit our website to learn how we can make insurance simple and more affordable.
Every life that meets its end leaves a heart for love to mend. Sister, brother, family, friends are left to carry on. When the loss seems more than you can bear, it's nice to know that we'll be there at Douglas A. Fiery Funeral Home. We care.
Call Ed Lowe to help put your mind at ease.
Welcome to special guest feature on Contemporary Retirement. This segment focuses on various issues which are of importance to the retirement community. With me today is Doug Mullendore, Sheriff, Washington County. Welcome to the show, Doug.
Thanks for having me, Mike.
Yeah, Doug, it's interesting as you look at traffic safety, which is obviously, you know, very important to everybody, and we see that people, you know, with phones, distracted driving, unfortunately substance issues and so forth create unnecessary risk in our community.
They do, and unfortunately Washington County has the unfortunate pleasure, not so to speak, that we have a high incident of fatal accidents as well as serious injury accidents. We have a lot of motorists on our highways.
And of course, in part of Washington County, as it is in the rural county, some of those places are going pretty fast.
They absolutely are, and we need to change driver behavior in order to reduce those number of crashes.
And, you know, as opposed to when the gridlock, 10 mile an hour isn't too much of a problem.
Exactly. Well, Interstate 81 seems to be a gridlock most of the time these days.
Yeah, really. So tell me a little bit about some of the initiatives that you're thinking about getting underway to try to address these issues.
Well, there are several focus areas. We put together a committee and identified areas that of concern that have caused a lot of these crashes. And you mentioned distracted driving, but also aggressive driving, occupant protection, pedestrian and bicycle safety are just a few of those.
So tell me a little bit about some of the initiatives you're thinking about.
Well, we worked with the State Highway Administration to come up with a plan. As you are aware, we had a number of fatal pedestrian accidents on Dole Highway. And a large part of that is because people are dressing in dark clothing. There's very little lighting at nighttime, and they're crossing mid-block as opposed to at an intersection. So we want to educate the public and then do enforcement so that we can hopefully reduce those types of things. With distracted driving, obviously, cell phones is a huge issue, and a number of the people that I stop actually do have Bluetooth in their cars. They either don't connect it or they don't know how to connect it, and my advice to them is, either to read their manual or go back to the dealership and ask them to assist you. One of the things that we're going to do is actually put together a program to assist motorists who can't get their Bluetooth to connect, to be able to connect them for them so that they won't be violating the law.
And of course, most modern manufacturers today are including Bluetooth in almost every car that they build, and almost any phone that you've acquired within the last 5 years also has Bluetooth capability. Absolutely. So there's really no reason to be driving around with holding that phone.
And you can even purchase one for the older cars, $30, $35, as opposed to $83 for the first citation that you receive for that.
Yeah, and the $83 isn't what's relevant. I mean, nobody wants to pay $83, but it's the safety hazard that you're creating when you fail to appropriately follow those rules. They're not designed to punish you. They're designed to keep everybody safe.
Absolutely. And a lot of the people I stop don't realize that they're either weaving within the lanes, crossing over the center line, doing all kinds of adverse things. They're not even aware of it because they're concentrating on that phone call or texting while they're driving.
I happen to know that your car has more electronic goobers than I've ever seen in my life, full-blown computer screens, but you don't work them while you're driving either.
That's correct.
Pull over.
we have a policy in place at the Sheriff's Office. Our deputies are not permitted by policy to use their phones while they're driving as well. And if somebody sees one of my deputies doing that, I would be happy to have them report it to me.
Well, because you really need to set the example, not be the exception to the rule.
Absolutely, that's correct.
Well, you talk about enhanced enforcement. I'm sure there are times of the week and times of the day that you pay more attention to that stuff.
Absolutely, and unfortunately we have higher volumes of traffic as people are going to and returning home from work, as well as during the school bus times when kids are going to school and coming home from school. We're particularly interested in keeping our kids safe as well.
Okay, and of course, we have some of the passive enforcement, which also does in fact work.
Yes, referring to the speed cameras,
right.
And it does change driver behavior, even if it's only for a short period of time. But over a period of time, if there are enough of them there, they tend to think about that even when they're not in one of the speed camera zones.
And of course, substance issues are always a problem.
It is, and unfortunately the opioid problem that we have in Washington County and across the state is pretty traumatic. We've had a number of instances where drivers actually overdosed and passed out in their vehicle sitting in traffic or sitting at a traffic light.
Well, Doug, as always, thanks for taking time to appear at the program. Great initiatives, great job as you always do.
Thank you very much. Thanks for having me.
More from Contemporary Retirement after these messages.
Tranquility at Fredericktown Assisted Living and Memory Care provides a warm, home-like atmosphere that promotes daily life enrichment. At Tranquility, our medical director is a geriatric physician. Our professionals support and understand the various stages associated with Alzheimer's and dementia. We have on-site physical, occupational, and speech therapists, as well as around-the-clock licensed nurses. For more information, give Tranquility at Fredericktown a call today, because everyone deserves great care. Let us do the caregiving so you and your loved one can embrace life again.
Come on, Dad, let's go! We're gonna be late! Hurry!
Just one more bid on HurleyAuctions.com. If you haven't visited HurleyAuctions.com, you don't know what you're missing. Whether you're buying or selling, antique cars, tractors, boats, or real estate, you can do it all at HurleyAuctions.com.
Get to know Dr. Carrie Hesley at Diagnostic Imaging Services.
What I find most rewarding is caring for women through our Women's Imaging Center. We have a caring staff that will ease patients through an ultrasound, bone densitometry, breast biopsy, or mammogram. Our health team is sensitive to emotions involved in women's imaging and understands that every woman is at risk for breast cancer. Providing the community with a center that is so dedicated to breast health and the imaging needs of women is something special.
DIS Women's Imaging Center, providing women with progressive care.
Welcome to Contemporary Health Scene. Contemporary Health Scene focuses on the health issues affecting the retirement community. With me today is Christina Forbes, Program Director, Daybreak of Frederick. Welcome to the show, Christina.
Thank you, Michael.
First of all, what is Daybreak?
So Daybreak is an adult medical daycare center, Michael, a place for seniors who have health and memory challenges to come in a safe place and have a good time during the day. Everybody goes back to their own houses at the end of the day.
All right, so that means medical means is that if they have specific needs during the course of the time they're there, that you have licensed professionals able to address those needs?
We do, Michael. We have 2 registered nurses in the building all the time, as well as nursing assistants. So folks with medical challenges that might need medication or just monitoring and supervision or simply assistance to get to and from the restroom, our staff are able to help with that.
Dietary?
Absolutely. We accommodate a variety of diets. We have a wonderful cook who loves to keep everyone fed and happy. So yes, we're able to accommodate a lot of different dietary needs.
And it's one of the great challenges because we see an awful lot of families try to take care of a loved one at home. People have no idea how difficult that is and how all-consuming that it is.
You know, Michael, I am continually shocked and amazed by what our caregivers go through on a 24-hour, 7-day-a-week basis. And you're right, no one can fully appreciate that unless they do it themselves. Coming to Daybreak gives a family member a break, literally 7 or 8 hours that they're not tasked with caring. It also gives them the support emotionally, educationally, that they need from our staff to keep them going.
And how many people are in your facility? What's it licensed for?
We're licensed to accommodate 70 people, so it's a busy place, but it's large. There's plenty of room for people to move around and be comfortable.
And part of the reasons I want to mention that is it breaks down into subgroups, so people who are interested in particular things can hang out with those people.
Absolutely.
They don't have to do anything.
It's not just one big group of people staring at each other. We have lots of room. We try to offer 2 or 3 activities at the same time during each time slot, so people pick and choose, and there's plenty of space for people to chit-chat, read a magazine, put their feet up. They don't have to do the organized activities.
So tell me what a day might look like at Daybreak.
Absolutely. So we offer transportation. We are able to pick people up at their homes and bring them in.
Even with handicapped accessible?
Absolutely. When they arrive, we have breakfast available for them. Around about 10 o'clock, the activities get started. Again, with our staff, helping people find their way, also helping people participate in the activities. So if someone needs physical help or maybe doesn't remember how to play a game or get involved, our staff are there to help them and to cajole them along. We serve lunch at midday, again cooked in-house, more activities in the afternoon, a snack we like to eat, and then our buses take folks home about 3 o'clock in the afternoon.
All right, we're going to bring some pictures up here. And part of it is we're watching the pictures. And first of all, I see a lot of smiles here.
That is the most important thing, Michael. We have a good time every day. In spite of whatever challenges people have, we have fun. This picture is at an outing. We do field trips. They're out for ice cream, which is a very popular trip. Group of folks playing dominoes and a staff person there just helping out when needed.
And it also gives that caregiver a chance to go take care of their own medical needs, their own shopping and things like that they need to do as well.
We both know that caregivers often give up taking care of themselves because they're so busy taking care of the one they love.
Now, how many days per week are you open?
We're open Monday through Friday. The center is open from 8 until 4, and our transportation times vary depending on where in the county someone lives.
And of course, you pick up most of Frederick County, but it is a very big county.
It is a big county.
There's a few places you have to sort of hand off people.
We do. We will rendezvous with people at a mutually agreed upon spot, and because of that, we can also pick up people from Washington County or Montgomery County if they're willing to do that.
But most of the county, your people are going straight there and picking them up.
We have 6 buses that put on hundreds of miles every day, so yes, we're far-reaching.
It is a medical daycare. It does cost money, but one of the things that we want to emphasize is that there are a lot of funding sources.
Absolutely.
And under no circumstances make a decision not to do it out of a fear of cost.
I appreciate you mentioning that, Michael. Truly, come talk with me, come see what we have to offer. We do have a lot of grant funding. We're a not-for-profit, so we're able to subsidize the rate based on income and even go further than that when we need to.
Passion for taking care of people.
Absolutely.
And don't be pushed away by a fear that you can't afford it.
please call and ask some questions, and we'll go from there.
And the last issue is everybody says, my loved one won't do this.
I meet a lot of curmudgeonly people who think that that's not something they want to do. But, you know, my nurse and I are really good at making a good connection right from the get-go. We offer a free day for someone just to try it without making any commitment. And then once they meet our participants and see what a day is like, very often they soften up and come back and eventually add more days. Truly, come visit me and see.
Your phone number?
301-696-0808.
Christina, as always, thanks for taking time to appear on the show.
Thanks, Michael.
More from Contemporary Retirement after these messages.
The Community Foundation continues to create great impact in Frederick County, thanks to generous donors. As our community evolves, so do we. While we don't have a real crystal ball that can predict the future, we are poised and ready to see things differently and help nonprofits, city and county agencies, civic groups, faith-based organizations, businesses, families, and individuals to solve problems within our community.
Albright Crumbacker Mal & Idtel are a full-service firm that provides elder care services including managing incoming bills, bill payment, depositing checks, balancing bank statements, and preparing, planning, and filing personal tax returns. Put your mind at ease and call us today.
Welcome to the Making Sense feature on Contemporary Retirement. Making Sense focuses on the financial issues affecting the retirement community. With me today is David Twenhafel, Senior Vice President at the Family Heritage Trust Company. Welcome to the show, Dave.
Thank you, Michael. Happy to be here.
Dave, of course, you're a certified financial planner too, and ironically, most certified financial planners are engaged in some sort of product sales. Is that your role at the trust company?
No, we don't actually have any product sales. We don't have any products to sell. I provide financial planning, and we do investments that are based on a fee basis and on a fiduciary responsibility to the client.
Any hidden commissions?
There are no commissions in what we do.
All right, and so part of the reasons we talk to people about it, and you and I have had a lot of conversations about that, there's a lot of ways that you do financial planning, and the certified financial planner model oftentimes involves some computer programming and so forth, and it's an interesting exercise, but sometimes people don't necessarily follow that plan, and we actually do some more holistic planning that might fit people's attitudes a little bit differently than that computer program.
Well, that's exactly right. I mean, the program will spit out the kind of stuff you put into it, but it might not necessarily answer the questions people are looking for answers to.
You know, and oftentimes the classic financial plan would suggest that people spend down their retirement accounts, and most people that we represent that are in the retirement phase are very conservative, and spending more than they make violates their values, and they're unlikely to do it.
That's correct. And so you really want to make sure that what they're planning on spending in real life is consistent with their needs and their wishes.
And so oftentimes you'll sit and say, okay, now this is one way it can be done, but this is also another way that might be more akin with your values, and let's look at what that might look like as well.
There's something, I actually call it, I have a term for it, which is structuring income, which is when you're retired, you have a variety of places you could get money from, retirement accounts, non-retirement accounts, Social Security, and the question is, where should you get your money from? And financial planning, the software generally won't help you with that so much, but using our expertise and looking at clients and knowing our clients, we can design something for them that makes a lot of sense.
And we're big on risk avoidance too, and risk avoidance doesn't necessarily mean super conservative investing, but it also means taking a look at homeowners policies, auto policies, umbrella policies, life insurance policies that may never pay a death benefit, and actually looking through those things and really assessing just beyond playing with the numbers.
Yes, it really is important to look at what the policies are doing now and what they might do in the future. It's not uncommon for us to find a life insurance policy, some sort of cash value or a whole life policy where they're putting a lot of money into it, but once they stop putting money into it, it'll blow up, as we say, it'll go away.
It'll lapse. It'll actually terminate coverage, and people just look as, what? And so it takes a lot to explain what that policy might look like, but the fact is we're going to sit down there and go through this stuff with people. And one of the services that you offer is that if a person's interested in talking to the trust company, there's no fee for talking to you about this material.
That's correct. We're happy to sit down, to talk with them, to review their documents and give them the best advice we can. We don't charge a fee for that.
And then when you do investment advisory services, it's not a connected fee there either. You know, we just feel like in order to provide the clients with the best possible service model, you need to sort of touch all of the bases, and some of those bases are not necessarily relevant to that client, but at least they will see the illustrations.
That's correct. We actually have a list of 10 common financial planning concerns or issues that clients might have, and in my experience, 5 or 6 of them might not apply to any given client, but it's good to put it out there and go over those 10 and see what they're interested in.
And then we inventory relationships, and that might mean, asking what's the nature of the relationship with the children, what's the nature of the relationship with the in-laws, any grandchildren with health issues, because people don't realize that you say, well, my grandchild's not in the will, but if your child dies before you and that grandchild has a disability, that grandchild is in the will if you don't make plans for it.
Yes, we have that issue. We have what if a child gets divorced later in life? Those are common concerns where people want to make sure their money goes to their children, but not necessarily to an ex-spouse.
And part of the thing is that people hear trust company, they think you have to have a trust in order to interact with the trust company.
We get that a lot. In fact, probably most of our clients don't have trusts, but we have the capability of having trusts, unlike a lot of organizations, and we also have the capability of working with clients who don't have trusts.
Just pure investment advisory,
yes.
Whether it be an investment account or it be an IRA or a 401k rollover.
Correct. Or even some retirement plans. We do employer plans like 401ks and SEP IRAs.
So Dave, if someone wanted to call you, how could they get a hold of you?
They can reach us at 301-631-5900.
Dave, I want to thank you for taking time to appear on the program.
Thank you, Michael. It was a real pleasure to be here.
Thank you from Contemporary Retirement.
Remember a more carefree time? Leave your insurance worries to us, Wright Gardner. Call or visit our website to learn how we can make insurance simple and more affordable.
These days, it seems like everything's online, and filling out claim forms and receiving and paying bills online isn't always easiest. That's why we at Quality First Insurance encourage you to just give us a call. Let us help.
Hi there, I'm Paul Sweeney with Quality First Insurance, and it's still just as simple. Our offices are open every weekday where you'll be able to call and speak to real, live people.
No detail was missed. I'm so glad that I turned to Quality First Insurance.
I've recommended Quality First Insurance to my friends who've been just as satisfied.
If you're not happy with what you're paying for Medigap, or more importantly, not happy with your service, give us a try. We're locally owned, and we take the time to provide you with the best. We are Quality First Insurance, and our mission is to provide quality products to quality people. Pick up the phone and give us a call today at 800-745-1411.